the Sex Workers Education and Advocacy Taskforce, or SWET, is calling for the decriminalisation of sex work in South Africa. SWET has brought a case against the Minister of Justice and Correctional Services and others seeking to have provisions that criminalise sex work declared unconstitutional. Now, the organisations argue that criminalisation undermines sex workers' constitutional right to health and contributes to poorer health outcomes. And for more on this matter, we are joined virtually now by the National Coordinator of Asijiki Coalition for Decriminalisation of Sex Work, Constance Mathe. Constance, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you so much for your invitation and for having me in your studio this morning.
Constance, let's just start with an explanation, so to speak. If you could just elaborate for us on how the current laws actually criminalize sex work and how do they specifically violate the constitutional rights of sex workers?
Okay, for the decades now, the sex workers have been facing the stigma and discrimination and the exclusion due of the outdated criminal laws. So we found like it's a very, very important thing for us to advocate for decrim because we felt like they've stripped their fundamental rights.
So, in which sense? You know, I'm just trying to get our viewers to also just understand more strategically the litigation that you brought in this regard.
Okay, this case is not only about the law reform, it's also about affirming the sex workers' human rights, and also because the sex workers, they were struggling to practice and exercise their rights. And we think with the decriminalization, the sex workers will be able to kind of exercise and practice their rights. So this court case is about, not about the moral issues, but also human right fundamental. So for us to have this litigation case, it's going to help and access and the have sex workers access their health services, have sex workers to be recognized under the labor laws and have a better working environment. So the litigation case that we are calling for, that is the purpose of us calling for that litigation. And the litigation itself, it have gone very well. And it seems like the process, it was the beginning of the hearing of the amicus. We are so glad and we are very happy that all our amicus, they have gone through, which means the case is just began, and we are looking forward for the court date. Not just our amicus, also our opposition amicus, they also did go through. We are very happy with that.
So, as things stand, hasn't the Department of Justice given their support to decriminalisation? Is that decriminalisation bill not currently in the works?
The Department of Justice, yes, we did have another parallel because right now we are speaking about two parallels. The first parallel, it was a decrim bill. So the decrim bill, it was supposed to come, it came out for the public comment and then it went to the state law advisory. But just because they wanted us to draft the regulation framework, so we are now in a process with the Department of Justice to do that. So, and we are conducting the consultation at the end of this month. But then the process, because it was, the bill came out since 2022, we felt there was a delay. And we have been patient waiting for the past 28 years. So we felt like we cannot wait anymore because sex workers are dying on the ground. Sex workers are struggling on the ground. So we felt like it's no longer a time of waiting anymore. That's why we pull out the litigation. When we pull out the litigation, the Department of Justice, they came out and say, you know what, we're not going to oppose you. Let the court take a judge and let the court judge. So, yes, but our opposition, they came in as a respondents in the case. So we are looking forward to that because we are not afraid of anything. We do have an evidence, we do have our facts gathered together, and with the sex workers, we are not afraid of anything. So the story is there, the evidence is there, so the testimonies are there, so people can come forward.
You spoke about the Amishi earlier and how that is likely to impact the case. I'm curious to understand. And also, what are the primary moral and social concerns that have been raised by the opponents of decriminalization? And, how do these arguments contrast with the evidence that you say you have, the evidence presented by researchers and other supporters?
Yes, so what they are raising, our opposition actually, they are raising that the decriminalization, will invite many people in the industry, and it will open doors for trafficking, human trafficking. And also they see it as a moral issue for sex worker to be decriminalized. So in our argument, we are saying, and also it's going to open the doors for the underage children. So in our argument, we are saying we do not advocate for the underage children. We advocate for the adult consensual sex work. As an organization, as a movement, we are totally against the people we enforce the kids into the industry. That is a criminal offense because it's a child exploitation. We are totally against that. And then regarding the trafficking, and trafficking is happening now when sex work is criminalized. With our own belief and the research that we have done, because we are in contact with all the sex workers across the globe, we find out that many people that are being trafficked, they are trafficked in the farms. They are not trafficked in sex working. And why, in other way, why do we bring trafficking and contradict trafficking with the sex working? Sex working is totally out. It's a choice. It's a people making living out of it. It have nothing to do with the trafficking. If people want to fight for trafficking, there is a laws that stand for trafficking. Why can't we separate the sex working industry and focus in trafficking if we want to challenge trafficking? The industry, we do not want any people. We recognize that as a criminal offense.
All right. We're going to leave it there. And of course, the main hearing will take place from the 18th to the 20th of May next year, 2026. But you heard there from Constance Mathe, who's the national coordinator at the Asijiki Coalition for the Decriminalisation of Sex Work, speaking about a court challenge to the laws that criminalise adult sex work.